Build yourself silently with these 5 rules. The profound truth about your existence is that you were not placed on this earth merely to capture fleeting attention. Your very being is not defined by how many eyes gaze upon you or how loudly your presence is announced. Instead, you were brought into this world to be fundamentally necessary, to fulfill a distinct and irreplaceable role that only you can truly embody. Pause for a moment and let that sink in. I understand what immediate thoughts might be surfacing in your mind. You might assume I'm about to advocate for retreat, for diminishing your own light, for shrinking into some guise of false humility that, while appearing spiritual, paradoxically traps you in a state of inaction and unfulfilled potential. Let me assure you, that is far from the message I intend to convey. My central premise is this: our contemporary world has developed an insatiable appetite for immediate broadcasting, an almost compulsive need for constant announcement and public display. Yet, the immutable law of greatness reveals that it is not born of clamor, but is in fact intricately woven into the fabric of silence. If your deepest desire is to achieve true eminence, to cultivate a life of significant impact and lasting legacy, then the most powerful action you can take is to quiet the external noise, cease the premature declarations, and dedicate yourself wholeheartedly to the arduous yet rewarding work of building. If genuine power is your pursuit, then redirect your energy from endless discussions about your future endeavors. Instead, commit yourself to the relentless, disciplined execution of those plans in the quiet solitude, in the unseen depths where no audiences are cheering, no hands are clapping, and no external voices are validating your every calculated step. Allow me to impart a truth that possesses the transformative power to redefine your trajectory, should you allow its profound implications to fully penetrate your consciousness. In any gathering, in any situation, the individual who poses the most significant force, the truly formidable presence, is rarely the loudest voice in the room. It is, almost without exception, the quietest. This individual is the one who has been diligently constructing their vision, brick by painstaking brick, while others have been lost in idle chatter and superficial conversations. This is the person who has immersed themselves in profound study, absorbing knowledge and wisdom, while their peers were absorbed in fleeting pleasures and distractions. This is the visionary who has dedicated countless hours to meticulous preparation, laboring in the private sanctuary of their own space, all in anticipation of a singular, defining moment that will eventually unfold in the public eye. Understand this fundamental distinction. Incessant noise is often the involuntary refuge of those consumed by insecurity, desperately seeking external affirmation to quell their inner doubts. Conversely, silence is not merely an absence of sound, it is the sacred, productive workshop of the truly wise. I have borne witness to countless individuals inadvertently sabotaging their own destinies, extinguishing their potential flames by prematurely announcing their aspirations. I have seen magnificent dreams, vibrant with potential, wither and perish in the unforgiving scrutiny of comment sections. I have observed raw, immense potential tragically abort itself on the transient stage of social media, solely because the individual's craving for superficial likes and validation eclipsed their genuine need for substantial, profound personal growth. And here lies a painful, often unacknowledged truth. When you unveil your nascent plans to an audience comprised of people who have not demonstrated the willingness to pay the same arduous price you are prepared to invest, you inadvertently extend an invitation for their inherent limitations to infiltrate and compromise your vast possibilities. You fling open the gates to their insidious doubts, their paralyzing fears, their gnawing jealousy, and their inherent unbelief, allowing these negative energies to contaminate the pure potential of your vision. It is a critical discernment to recognize that not everyone possesses the wisdom, the insight, or the capacity to offer constructive input into your future. In a sobering reality, many individuals struggle profoundly to even competently navigate their own present circumstances. Therefore, let us establish rule number 1. Guard your process like your very life depends on it. Because in essence, it absolutely does. The diligent, often unseen work that occurs during the formative stages of any significant endeavor is exceptionally delicate and profoundly susceptible to external interference. Consider the profound analogy of a woman who carries new life within her. When she first becomes aware of her pregnancy, she does not immediately broadcast the news to the entire world on day one. Instead, she exercises a profound wisdom. She waits. And why does she do so? Because she instinctively understands that life, particularly in its earliest, most nascent stages, is exceptionally fragile. She dedicates herself to meticulously protecting that precious, developing life growing within her. She becomes remarkably discerning about what she consumes, where she ventures, and the company she keeps. She inherently grasps the timeless principle that the precious seed of life is infinitely more significant than the celebratory announcement that will eventually follow. Your most cherished dreams operate under the very same principles. They are not grand, fully formed structures from the outset. They are delicate seeds of potential. And true seeds, the kind that bear abundant fruit, do not flourish when casually scattered upon the surface where every passerby can observe and inadvertently trample upon them. True seeds require the profound sanctuary of the dark, the rich, nurturing embrace of the earth, the hidden, protected place where the miraculous transformation from potential to reality occurs, far from the critical gaze of any audience. The prevailing challenge with our current generation, fueled by the relentless demands of digital connectivity, is that we have been subtly conditioned to believe a pervasive fallacy, that if an event is not meticulously documented and shared online, then in essence, it never truly occurred. If an insight or achievement remains unshared across digital platforms, it is deemed to possess no intrinsic value. If a success is not publicly celebrated with a cascade of applause and recognition, then it is deemed to be an unreal, perhaps even an unworthy accomplishment. This widespread belief is a profound deception, a cunning lie designed to keep you tethered to superficiality, perpetually distracted and dangerously dependent on the fleeting applause of an audience that will, more often than not, have forgotten you by the advent of tomorrow. You may erroneously believe that you are in dire need of their constant validation. You are not. You may falsely conclude that their approval is an essential prerequisite for your journey. It is not. What you genuinely need, what will truly propel you forward, is unwavering discipline. What you desperately require is intense, unyielding focus. What you must cultivate is the profound courage to toil in relative obscurity, to build with quiet determination, all the while meticulously laying the foundations for the inevitable visibility that will follow. I am not for a moment advocating for a performative or false humility. Humility is not an indication of weakness. Humility does not imply the concealment of your inherent gifts and talents. True humility is a profound self-awareness, an intimate understanding of the divine origin of your gifts, coupled with an unwavering refusal to debase or prostitute those precious endowments for the mere sake of fleeting attention or superficial recognition. There exists a crucial and often misunderstood distinction between genuine confidence and ostentatious arrogance. Confidence declares with quiet assurance, I possess an intrinsic understanding of who I am, and therefore I feel no compelling need to demonstrate or prove it to you. Conversely, arrogance loudly proclaims, I am desperate for you to acknowledge who I am, precisely because I harbor deep internal uncertainties about my own identity and worth. Allow me to transport your mind to a vivid mental landscape. Envision, if you will, a majestic lion in the untamed expanse of the jungle. The lion, the undisputed king of its domain, does not herald its presence with boisterous fanfare. It does not unleash a thunderous roar before it embarks upon its strategic hunt. Instead, the lion moves with an almost ethereal silence, with calculated precision, with an extraordinary patience that belies its raw power. The earth-shattering roar, the resounding declaration of its might, comes only after the triumphant culmination of the hunt, after the victory has been decisively secured, never before. Now, observe the behavior of a dog. The dog, by its very nature, barks indiscriminately at everything that crosses its path. It barks at the unsuspecting mailman, at the gentle rustle of the wind, even at its own fleeting shadow. It is a torrent of noise, yet remarkably devoid of genuine power. It is an act of announcement, yet utterly lacking in true authority. Therefore, in your pursuit of greatness, choose not to emulate the dog. Instead, embody the silent, strategic power of the lion. Hunt in profound silence. Achieve victory in resolute silence. Build your empire in unwavering silence. Now, this is precisely where many individuals become inadvertently confused, often misinterpreting the profound counsel of silence. They mistakenly equate silence with absolute isolation. They erroneously believe that the act of building privately inherently means that one cannot cultivate meaningful relationships, cannot benefit from the invaluable guidance of mentors, cannot embrace the empowering structure of accountability, or cannot seek the vital support necessary for growth. That is unequivocally not the message I am conveying. My emphasis is on the profound importance of being discerningly selective. Be acutely intentional in your connections. When you decide to reveal your nascent work, ensure that you are presenting it to individuals who possess the genuine capacity to enhance it, to add value, rather than to diminish or subtract from its potential. Display your foundational blueprints to fellow builders, those who understand the craft and possess the vision to contribute constructively, not to the cacophony of critics who specialize in deconstruction. Share your audacious vision with true visionaries, individuals whose perspectives are expansive and future-oriented, not with passive spectators who merely observe without truly engaging. There is a profound, often overlooked distinction between seeking genuine counsel and inviting mere commentary. Authentic counsel, born of wisdom and experience, serves to sharpen your focus, refine your ideas, and elevate your capabilities. Commentary, on the other hand, frequently devolves into a source of distraction, confusion, and unnecessary noise. This brings us to rule number 2. Stop seeking permission from people who do not possess a fundamental understanding of your unique assignment. Understand this deeply. You are not a random amalgamation of circumstances. You are not a cosmic accident. You are most certainly not a mistake. You were meticulously designed by a divine manufacturer who painstakingly embedded within you an extraordinary array of specific gifts, unique talents, innate abilities, and boundless potential. Even if your human parents did not meticulously plan your arrival, a profound, preordained purpose unequivocally called you into existence. That profound purpose is your sacred assignment. And here is what you must grasp about the nature of assignments. They are inherently specific. They are custom-made, meticulously tailored to your unique blueprint. They are, by their very design, singular and unparalleled. What you are intrinsically called to do, no one else in the entirety of human history can execute with the same precision, the same nuance, the same authentic essence as you. Your individual fingerprint is distinct from every other fingerprint that has ever graced this earth. Your DNA sequence is unique. Your voice carries a distinct timbre and resonance. Your perspective, shaped by your singular experiences, is inherently different. Given these undeniable truths, why would you persist in seeking approval, in awaiting validation, from individuals who are not even traversing the same path as you, who cannot possibly comprehend the intricate nuances of your journey? I have, with a heavy heart, observed countless individuals, blessed with incredible innate gifts, squander precious decades of their lives. They remain in a perpetual state of waiting for someone, anyone, to finally declare them ready. They wait endlessly for an external entity to grant them an opportunity, for a benevolent hand to open a door that feels perpetually closed. All the while, the profound irony persists. They possess within themselves all the necessary tools, all the latent capacity to construct their very own door, to forge their own pathway forward. Yet they remain tragically preoccupied, endlessly knocking on someone else's unyielding entrance. Allow me to share a truth that, while potentially stinging a little, carries immense liberatory power. If you find yourself in a constant state of waiting for explicit permission to commence your journey, you are, by definition, living far below the magnificent expanse of your true potential. If the ignition switch for your endeavors requires external validation before you can even begin, then you are fundamentally unprepared to see them through to a successful completion. If you are dependent on someone else's belief in you before you can muster the courage to believe in yourself, you are, with chilling certainty, setting yourself up for an inevitable cycle of disappointment and frustration. Now please do not misunderstand my counsel. I am a staunch advocate for the invaluable benefits of mentorship. I hold a deep conviction in the power of learning from those who have traversed the paths before you, from those who possess accumulated wisdom and experience. I believe wholeheartedly in the honor due to those who have paid their dues and blazed trails. However, there exists a crucial distinction, a vast chasm between humbly learning from others and unnecessarily limiting your own innate capacity. There is a profound difference between respecting hard-won wisdom and actively rejecting the authenticity of your own unique voice. You possess the inherent ability to learn profoundly from another individual without resorting to becoming a mere copy, a pale imitation of their journey or their methodology. You can honor their extraordinary path without in any way abandoning the singular, divinely appointed journey that is uniquely yours. Here is the insidious consequence that inevitably unfolds when you seek an excessive amount of external permission. You begin an insidious process of self-editing. You start to second-guess your most profound instincts, your most authentic expressions. You gradually begin to dilute the raw, potent message that is uniquely yours, striving to make it palatable, acceptable, and inoffensive to an audience that was never, in the first place, meant to receive it. And before you are even consciously aware of what is happening, you discover that you have transformed yourself so extensively, bending and contorting to fit within the confines of their arbitrary boxes, that you no longer recognize authentic self staring back at you. You have inadvertently become a version of yourself that, while deemed acceptable to them, is utterly unrecognizable to the profound purpose that calls you. Your divine manufacturer did not engineer you with the intention that you should merely blend seamlessly into the background, a mere cog in a larger, undifferentiated machine. On the contrary, your manufacturer intricately designed you with the express intention that you should stand out, boldly and brilliantly. Yet, standing out does not necessitate an ostentatious display or a constant need to show off. Standing out means consistently and unapologetically showing up as the authentic, powerful individual you were explicitly created to be. When you are genuinely operating in alignment with your true purpose, when you are authentically walking in your calling, you will find that there is no need to vociferously announce it. People will instinctively sense it. They will feel the resonance of your truth. When you are truly operating from a place of genuine giftedness, there will be no need for you to tirelessly defend it. The tangible results, the undeniable fruit of your labor, will unequivocally prove its validity. Let me now present rule number 3. Fall in love with the process, not merely the promise of the outcome. This particular rule holds the power to sharply differentiate those who merely dream from those who truly achieve, the boys from the men and the girls from the women. It is a universal human desire to crave the abundant harvest, to bask in the glory of the yield. Yet tragically, very few possess the willingness or the fortitude to diligently plow the ground, to prepare the soil through arduous labor. Everyone yearns for the metaphorical crown, for the recognition and the accolades it symbolizes. Yet precious few are prepared to endure the arduous weight of carrying it across the finish line, to undertake the trials required to earn it. Everyone covets the grand stage, the spotlight of public acclaim, yet alarmingly few are willing to grapple with the preceding struggles, the unseen battles, the profound difficulties that precede such an elevation. This fundamental disconnect, this aversion to the necessary work, is precisely why the vast majority of people ultimately capitulate and quit. They become enamored with an idealized, often superficial notion of success, but they fail to cultivate a profound, abiding love for the intricate, often challenging work that is the indispensable prerequisite for achieving that success. They covet the destination, but they harbor an inherent disdain for the journey itself. And let me state this with unequivocal clarity. If you cannot learn to derive genuine satisfaction and even joy from the intricate process of building, if you cannot embrace the daily grind, then you will most certainly lack the enduring resilience required to sustain the immense pressure that inevitably accompanies any platform of significant success. Success is not a singular, isolated event. It is not a fleeting moment of triumph. Success is, in its truest essence, a deeply embedded lifestyle. It is a continuous, often invisible, series of daily, intentional decisions that go largely unobserved by the external world. It is the unwavering commitment to rise, to push forward, even when your entire being rebels against the effort, when you simply do not feel like it. It is the discipline to immerse yourself in study, to absorb new knowledge, even when your body is weary and your mind yearns for rest. It is the steadfast dedication to practice, to hone your craft, even when discouragement threatens to overwhelm your spirit. It is the profound integrity of showing up, of performing the required work, even when absolutely no one else is present to witness your efforts. The victory that you eventually witness and celebrate in the public arena was in truth meticulously forged and hard-won in the quiet solitude of private endeavor. The breakthrough moment that elicits thunderous applause on a grand stage was, in reality, painstakingly constructed and solidified in the unassuming depths of the basement, far from prying eyes. I vividly recall a period in my life when I was financially destitute, emotionally broken, and consumed by bitterness. I remember a time when my aspirations vastly outnumbered my financial resources, when my visionary insights far outstripped my tangible means, when my boundless potential stood in stark contrast to any observable proof of its manifestation. And during that arduous period, I was consumed by a profound anger, a gnawing frustration. I found myself perpetually observing others who, from my limited vantage point, appeared to navigate life with effortless ease, who seemed to possess an enviable sense of composure and completeness, who appeared to be winning unequivocally while I was locked in an unending struggle. And it was then that I posed a question, a profound query that many of you are undoubtedly asking yourselves in this very moment. Why is this taking such an inordinate amount of time? Why am I still mired in these circumstances? Why have I not yet experienced my breakthrough? And then a revelation struck me, a profound insight that fundamentally altered my entire perspective. I learned that what often manifests as a delay is, in fact, not a denial of your potential or your purpose. I learned that the period of waiting, far from being a waste of precious time, is an indispensable phase of profound growth. I learned that the intricate, often challenging process itself is not a form of punishment. It is, in its purest form, an essential preparation. You see, the crucible of experience you are currently navigating, the challenges that feel overwhelming, are not designed to shatter your spirit or break you down. On the contrary, they are meticulously crafted to build you up, to forge a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. What frequently manifests and feels like an agonizing setback is, in truth, an elaborate setup, an intricate arrangement for a future triumph. What appears to be an insurmountable dead end is, in actuality, a divinely orchestrated detour, guiding you towards something infinitely greater and more profound than you could have initially conceived. But here lies the absolute crux, the essential key to unlocking this truth. You must consciously and deliberately shift your perspective. You must cease perceiving the process as a burdensome ordeal you are compelled to merely endure, and instead begin to embrace it as a privileged experience you are granted to participate in. Every single challenge that arises in your path is meticulously designed to impart a vital lesson. Every obstacle that stands before you is a rigorous training exercise, preparing you for a future responsibility. Every door that appears to be closed is, in its benevolent essence, protecting you from something that is not aligned with your highest good. You are not stuck in a state of stagnation. You are, in fact, being meticulously prepared. You are not forgotten or overlooked. You are, with divine precision, being strategically positioned. Consider once more the profound analogy of a seed. When a tiny seed is carefully planted deep within the earth, its initial appearance does not suggest progress or vibrant growth. On the contrary, it very much resembles a burial. It evokes images of death, of an ultimate end. The vulnerable seed is enveloped by profound darkness, surrounded by the dense soil, subjected to immense pressure from the surrounding earth. Yet what is unfolding in that hidden darkness, far from any human gaze, is immeasurably more significant and profound than anything that might be observed in the superficial light. Within that subterranean sanctuary, the seed is beginning to break open, shedding its former shell. The seed is undergoing a radical metamorphosis, changing its very form. The seed is diligently developing a complex network of roots, and those roots, critically important, are penetrating deep into the earth, anchoring the nascent life force with incredible strength. This deep anchoring ensures that when the majestic tree eventually emerges and grows to its full, impressive stature, it possesses the intrinsic stability and resilience to withstand the most ferocious storms that life can hurl its way. You, in this present moment, are precisely in that vital seed stage, and I understand deeply that it does not feel inherently good. I know with absolute certainty that it does not outwardly look impressive or promising. I understand your weariness, your profound exhaustion with the pervading darkness, the relentless pressure, the feeling of being perpetually underground, unseen and unacknowledged. But hear this critical warning. If you prematurely force your emergence, if you attempt to come up too soon, you will, with devastating certainty, abort your entire harvest. If you attempt to rush, to short-circuit the indispensable process, you will irrevocably ruin the magnificent product that is destined to emerge. The magnificent tree you are in the profound process of becoming necessitates the comprehensive, resilient root system you are currently developing in the hidden depths. The towering heights of achievement and impact that you are destined to reach are directly proportional to and fundamentally reliant upon the profound depth of experience and growth you are currently traversing. So, cease the complaining about your present circumstances and instead embrace the profound opportunity to learn from precisely where you are. Stop resisting the inevitable, essential process and instead cultivate a deep, abiding respect for it. God is not wasting your precious time. Life is not cheating you of your due. You are being meticulously prepared for something so grand, so impactful, that your current mindset cannot even fully grasp or comprehend it. You are being meticulously built for a weight of glory, for a level of responsibility and influence that your present strength is not yet equipped to carry. Now we arrive at rule number 4. Protect your peace like it is your most valuable possession, because without a shadow of a doubt, it is. The undeniable truth is that you cannot construct anything of lasting value in an environment permeated by chaos. You cannot unleash your full creative genius amidst a maelstrom of confusion. You simply cannot flourish. You cannot genuinely grow within an atmosphere of incessant noise, perpetual drama, and relentless distraction. One of the most pivotal and defining decisions you will ever make in your life is the precise determination of who and what you grant access to your sacred personal space. Not every individual, regardless of their relationship to you, inherently deserves unlimited access to your time, your energy, or your attention. Not every conversation, no matter how urgent it may seem, merits the investment of your precious energy. Not every problem that arises on the horizon inherently deserves your immediate, undivided attention. Allow me to reiterate this profound truth, for some of you may have inadvertently overlooked its significance. Not every problem that presents itself is, by default, your problem to solve. Not every battle that is being waged is, unequivocally, your battle to fight. Not every argument that arises is, in the grand scheme of things, worth engaging in or winning. Some burdens you simply need to release. Some individuals you absolutely need to allow to gracefully exit your life. Some untenable situations you must courageously allow to simply die their natural, necessary death. You are not, and were never intended to be, solely responsible for fixing every individual you encounter. You are not burdened with the impossible task of saving every single soul. You are not obligated to convince every person of your truth, your worth, or your vision. Your primary fundamental responsibility is to diligently steward your own life with wisdom and integrity, to fiercely protect your own inner peace with an unyielding resolve, and to guard your invaluable energy with profound discernment. I have with regret observed incredibly talented individuals systematically dismantle their own immense potential. This tragic outcome often stemmed from their excessive accessibility, their constant availability, their unreserved generosity in giving too much of themselves to far too many people who, frankly, did not genuinely value the precious gifts they were receiving. They allowed everyone into their inner sanctum. They permitted every voice to speak into their ears and their spirit. They enabled everyone to indiscriminately dump their problems, their profound pain, their corrosive negativity directly into their sacred space. And then, inevitably, these talented individuals found themselves bewildered, wondering why they felt perpetually exhausted, utterly overwhelmed, and frustratingly stuck in a cycle of stagnation. Understand this critical insight. Boundaries are not an act of selfishness. Boundaries are, in fact, profoundly sacred. Boundaries are not rigid, impenetrable walls, erected with the sole purpose of keeping people out. Rather, boundaries are carefully constructed gates, thoughtfully designed to protect the invaluable treasures that reside within. You do not, as a matter of common sense, grant unrestricted access to your private home to every stranger you encounter. You do not, in your right mind, freely distribute the keys to your personal vehicle to just anyone. You certainly do not share the intimate details of your bank account with individuals you barely know. So, by what logic do you indiscriminately share the most intimate aspects of your mind, your delicate emotions, your finite time, and your invaluable energy with individuals who have not genuinely earned the profound right to access these sacred aspects of your being? The stark reality is that some relationships in your life are actively draining your vitality. Some environments you inhabit are subtly but relentlessly limiting your growth and potential. Some conversations you engage in are, without question, poisoning your spirit. And deep within your intuition, you inherently know this to be true. You possess this knowledge, but you are often paralyzed by a fear of making the difficult decisions required to change course. You are afraid of potentially hurting someone's feelings. You are reluctant to appear mean or unsympathetic. You harbor a profound fear of confronting the prospect of being alone. Let me offer you an immutable truth. A profound sense of loneliness, when embraced for the right reasons, is infinitely preferable to enduring the corrosive influence of bad company. A serene silence is unequivocally superior to engaging in toxic, draining conversations. A profound inner peace, often found in solitude, is far more valuable and sustaining than the fleeting illusion of popularity. Even a figure as revered as Jesus, who embraced and loved all of humanity, chose to have 12 close disciples, yet only 3 of them accompanied him to the pivotal mountaintop experience. He extended his love universally, but he understood that not everyone merited the same level of intimate access. He tirelessly served the multitudes, yet he also understood the critical necessity of retreating from the throngs to replenish his spirit and reconnect with his source. He possessed the profound wisdom of how to be fully present without becoming utterly depleted. He knew precisely how to give generously without, in the process, giving away everything of himself. He meticulously protected his inner peace, understanding that it was an indispensable prerequisite for him to fully fulfill his divine purpose. You too must adopt this same profound wisdom. You must actively create intentional space for yourself. You must fiercely guard your sacred morning hours, setting them aside for contemplation and preparation. You must vigilantly protect your mind from intrusive negativity and distracting thoughts. You need to be acutely selective about the content you consume, what you watch, what you listen to, what you allow into your mental and emotional space. Every piece of information, every sound you permit to enter your ears, is subtly planting seeds within the fertile ground of your heart. Everything you allow into your visual field, everything you permit your eyes to see, is actively shaping the landscape of your vision and your perspective. Everything you grant access to your personal space is, without question, exerting an influence on your spirit. Therefore, choose with profound wisdom and discernment. And here lies perhaps the most challenging aspect of this journey. Sometimes, the very individuals you need to create a healthy distance from, the relationships you need to reevaluate with courageous honesty, are precisely the people you deeply love. Sometimes, the connections that once served you well, that nurtured your growth in a specific season, have now become stagnant forces, actively stalling your progress. People, by their very nature, evolve and grow at different, often disparate paces. Individuals naturally move in diverging directions, and that, in its essence, is perfectly acceptable and entirely normal. You possess the capacity to love someone deeply from a respectful distance. You can honor an individual's journey and their contribution to your life without remaining perpetually bound to them in a way that stifles your own growth. You can cherish and appreciate the precious season you once shared without attempting to forcibly extend a season that has, by all natural indications, reached its conclusion. Guilt, when allowed to fester, will inexorably keep you stuck in a cycle of inaction. Obligation, when blindly adhered to, will render you perpetually stagnant. But profound wisdom, when courageously embraced, will invariably set you free. It is not an act of cruelty to outgrow certain people or certain relationships. It is not an act of meanness to courageously move forward on your own path. It is not a selfish endeavor to prioritize the sanctity of your own peace and well-being. On the contrary, it is an absolute necessity. It is a fundamental act of self-preservation. It is a profound demonstration of wise stewardship over the precious life you have been given. Now, let us arrive at the final rule, rule number 5. Commit unequivocally to becoming the authentic person you truly are, not merely the person others expect you to be. The greatest tragedy that can possibly befall a human life is not the cessation of breath, not death itself. No, the greatest tragedy in life is to live out your entire existence as a mere imitation, a shadow of someone else's expectations, never truly embodying the unique essence of who you were born to be. The greatest waste of human potential is not the experience of failure, for failure often serves as a powerful teacher. The greatest waste is to achieve resounding success in an endeavor, to reach the pinnacle of an achievement that you were never in your deepest core called or purposed to pursue. The most profound pain a human heart can experience is not the sting of rejection, for rejection can often redirect you to your true path. The greatest pain is the insidious act of accepting a definition of yourself that is predicated solely upon someone else's rejection of who you were trying to be for them. You were brought into this world as an original, a masterpiece of unique design. Yet, with tragic frequency, most people depart this life as mere copies. They dedicate their entire lives to the exhausting pursuit of trying to be someone else, meticulously attempting to conform to another person's mold, relentlessly striving to meet the shifting, often arbitrary, expectations of others. And in this exhaustive, self-erasing process, they tragically lose themselves. They gradually forget the profound truth of who they inherently are. They lose sight of the fundamental reason for their existence, the unique contribution they were created to make. They forget the magnificent purpose they were meticulously designed to fulfill. Listen to these words with unwavering attention and internalize their profound truth. You are not here on this earth to merely live up to the expectations of anyone else, regardless of their position or influence. You are not here to mechanically fulfill someone else's predetermined agenda. You are not here to become the person your parents wished you were, or what your friends expected of you, or what society loudly demanded you conform to. No, you are profoundly here to embark upon a sacred journey of discovery, to uncover the authentic, unadulterated person you were before the world, with all its pressures and dictates, began to tell you who you should be. You are here to meticulously peel back the layers of conditioning and apprehension, to unveil the magnificent individual you were intricately designed to become. Before fear, before insidious doubt, before the relentless trap of comparison convinced you to adopt the persona of someone else. The true adversary of your magnificent destiny is not external opposition, though that will inevitably arise. The true, most potent enemy of your destiny is imitation. When you attempt to replicate, to be like someone else, you inadvertently insult the divine wisdom of your Creator, suggesting that their unique design for you was somehow insufficient. When you blindly copy someone else's path, you are, by definition, abandoning the singular, divinely appointed path that is uniquely your own. When you allow your intrinsic worth to be measured solely by someone else's arbitrary standards, you are, in essence, rejecting the immeasurable value, the profound dignity that was bestowed upon you at the very moment of your birth. You do not need to be like them. What the world desperately needs is for you to be authentically, unequivocally like you. The world does not crave yet another copy, another imitation, another diluted version of what already exists. The world is hungering for the original, the unadulterated version of you. The full, complete version. The raw, unedited version. The bold, unapologetic version. The version that is not performing for applause, not pretending for acceptance, not pandering for popularity. The version that is inherently powerful precisely because it is pure and unblemished. The version that is authentically magnetic because it is perfectly aligned with its true nature. Here is the transformative outcome that unfolds when you make the profound, unwavering commitment to simply being your authentic self. You cease the exhausting, futile act of competing with others, and instead you courageously pivot towards the exhilarating act of creating something novel and unique. You stop the corrosive habit of comparing your journey to the seemingly perfect highlight reels of others, and instead you begin the deeply satisfying work of contributing your unique gifts to the world. You transcend the limitations of imitation and bravely step into the boundless realm of innovation. You arrive at a profound realization. Your specific lane is unequivocally your lane. Your unique race is, by divine design, your race alone. Your sacred assignment is, irrevocably, your assignment. And no one else, no matter how gifted or talented, can run it with the same authenticity, the same passion, the same unique flair that you can. Some of you are called to meticulously build thriving businesses. Some of you are called to tenderly build strong, resilient families. Some of you are called to ignite and cultivate impactful movements that shift paradigms. Some of you are called to dedicate yourselves to the profound work of building up other people, empowering and elevating them. Understand this truth. Your specific assignment is not inherently better or worse than anyone else's. It is simply profoundly, gloriously different. And different in this context is not a deficiency. Different is divine. Different is, by its very nature, a deliberate design. So, cease the incessant apologies for your inherent uniqueness. Stop shrinking your magnificent light, diminishing your true self, merely to assuage the insecurities of others. That is not humility. That is, in its core, an act of cowardice. That is an act of insidious self-sabotage. That is, in the deepest sense, a betrayal of the extraordinary gift that resides within you. Do you know what the world in its deepest need genuinely requires? The world needs you to become so profoundly committed to your singular purpose that you become utterly unavailable for trivial distractions. The world needs you to become so undeniably secure in your authentic identity that you are rendered completely unbothered by the sting of external criticism. The world needs you to achieve such profound clarity regarding your unique assignment that you become unshakable in its diligent execution. I am not for a moment suggesting that this journey will be an easy one. On the contrary, it will be fraught with challenges. But I am telling you with absolute conviction that it will be immeasurably worth every single effort. I am not promising that everyone will immediately understand your choices or your path, but I am assuring you that the right people, those who truly matter, will recognize the authenticity and power emanating from you. I am not guaranteeing that the road ahead will be smooth and unobstructed, but I am confidently declaring that the destination you are forging will be profoundly significant, impactful, and eternally meaningful. The act of building yourself silently is not an exercise in hiding away from the world. It is instead a rigorous and profound process of refining your essence. It is about investing deeply in yourself, honing your skills, accumulating knowledge, and preparing with such excellence and precision that when your inevitable moment of public emergence arrives, you are not merely present, but you are supremely ready. It is about the disciplined commitment to labor diligently when no one else is watching, so that when the gaze of the entire world falls upon you, you possess the unshakable inner fortitude not to crumble under the immense pressure. It is about diligently performing the crucial foundational work in the quiet privacy of your own space, so that you are fully equipped to gracefully handle the immense weight of public responsibility and attention. You see, the cheering crowd, the enthusiastic audience, the passive spectators, they do not witness the profound sacrifices that were made. They do not observe the agonizing struggles that were endured. They remain oblivious to the sleepless nights, the countless rejected proposals, the frustratingly closed doors, the immense financial pressures, the emotional breakdowns, the profound moments when you were overwhelmed by the urge to simply quit everything. They only ever see the final, polished result. They only ever witness the triumphant success. They only ever celebrate the breakthrough moment. And that, profoundly, is perfectly acceptable, because it was not the applause that sustained your spirit. It was not the attention that meticulously built your character. It was not the external recognition that painstakingly refined your abilities. What truly built you, what forged your resilience, was the unwavering commitment you made to yourself in the dark, unseen hours. What truly refined your character and your skills was the rigorous discipline you faithfully practiced when you were utterly alone. What genuinely sustained you through the most trying times was the unwavering faith you fiercely clung to, even when every external circumstance, every internal doubt, screamed at you to abandon hope. That, precisely, is what made you. That is what meticulously shaped you. That is what painstakingly prepared you for this moment. So, let me bring this powerful message full circle. Let me articulate these truths with such crystal clarity that there can be no room for misunderstanding. You have been presented with 5 immutable rules, 5 foundational principles, 5 non-negotiable commitments that possess the profound power to utterly transform your life, should you choose to diligently apply them. 1. Guard your process. Stop announcing every single move you make. Cease the impulse to share every nascent plan. Stop perpetually seeking validation for every solitary step you take. Instead, build in profound silence. Cultivate your growth in sacred obscurity. Prepare with meticulous care in the private sanctuary of your own being. 2. Stop seeking permission. You do not require the ubiquitous approval of everyone around you. You do not need the blessing of every individual. You do not need universal agreement to embark upon your path. Instead, move forward with unwavering confidence. Move with absolute clarity of vision. Move with unshakable conviction in your purpose. 3. Fall in love with the process. Cease your obsessive fixation on the ultimate outcome, on the distant destination. Instead, cultivate a profound, abiding commitment to the intricate, unfolding journey itself. Embrace the demanding grind with enthusiasm. Respect the inherent weight and gravity of the work. Trust implicitly in the divine timing of your path. 4. Protect your peace. Ruthlessly sever ties with anything or anyone that consistently drains your vital energy. Consciously distance yourself from anything or anyone that relentlessly distracts you from your purpose. Understand that your peace is your most potent form of power. Recognize that your surrounding environment is everything. Accept that your inner circle profoundly determines the trajectory of your success. 5. Become who you are. Stop the futile endeavor of trying to mimic or be like others. Stop measuring your intrinsic worth by their arbitrary standards. Stop living your life solely for their fleeting approval. Embrace this liberating truth. You are inherently enough. You are, in this very moment, ready. You are unequivocally called to greatness. These 5 foundational rules are not mere suggestions or optional guidelines. They are, in their purest essence, absolute requirements for a life of purpose and impact. They are not simply optional additions. They are utterly essential. If your deepest aspiration is to construct a life that genuinely matters, if you yearn to create something that possesses enduring legacy, if you desire to fully fulfill the profound purpose for which you were meticulously born, then you must make an unwavering commitment to these principles. And let me reveal to you precisely what will inevitably transpire when you courageously embrace them. You will, without a doubt, lose certain people along the way. Some individuals will struggle profoundly to comprehend why you are no longer as perpetually available as you once were. Some people will openly dislike the fact that you are no longer actively seeking their constant approval. Some will, with varying degrees of malice, label you as proud, as arrogant, as distant. Let them. Allow their judgments to fall away like water off a duck's back, for you are not meticulously building your future for them. You are building for your own magnificent future. You are building for the generations that will follow you, for your children and their children. You are building for the countless individuals who are desperately awaiting and profoundly needing the unique contribution that only you, in your singular essence, can create. You will most certainly encounter formidable opposition. There will be profound moments when you intensely question your own capabilities, your own path. There will be desolate days when you feel utterly alone, isolated in your pursuit. There will be challenging seasons when you grapple with the agonizing doubt of whether any of this arduous journey is truly worth the immense effort. In those precise, challenging moments, engrave this truth deeply into your heart. The profound pain you are experiencing today is actively forging the immense strength you will unequivocally require tomorrow. The intense struggle you are confronting in this present moment is meticulously preparing you for the profound success you will, with time, learn to gracefully handle later. The rigorous test you are currently enduring is actively training you for the powerful, impactful testimony you will, eventually, courageously share with the world. Do not quit. Do not cease your efforts. Do not, under any circumstances, give up on yourself or your vision. You are, in this very moment, closer to your breakthrough than you can possibly imagine. You are inherently stronger than you can ever truly comprehend. You are far more prepared for your destiny than you currently realize. The profound breakdown you may have recently experienced was, in actuality, a breakthrough in insightful disguise. The agonizing disappointment you faced was, in its deepest essence, a divine appointment, a precise redirection onto a more authentic path. The frustrating delay that currently vexes you is, in fact, a divinely orchestrated strategy designed to protect you from unseen dangers. Everything is, without a doubt, working seamlessly together. Everything is, unequivocally, working in your ultimate favor. Even when the circumstances do not outwardly appear to align, even when your emotions do not internally feel like it, trust the profound process. Trust the impeccable timing of your journey. Trust the magnificent overarching plan that is unfolding. You were not brought into existence to merely blend in with the masses. You were divinely created to boldly stand out. You were not engineered to passively follow the paths of others. You were divinely fashioned to courageously lead. You were not designed to be ordinary, to live a life of mundane existence. You were, with intricate care, designed to be extraordinary. And being extraordinary does not equate to being flashy, ostentatious, or attention-seeking. Extraordinary, in its truest definition, means precisely what the word conveys: extraordinary, beyond the conventional, above the commonplace, far more than the standard. Therefore, build yourself silently. Build yourself with astute, strategic planning. Build yourself with unwavering seriousness and dedication. Work diligently when others are lost in slumber. Immerse yourself in profound study when others are aimlessly scrolling through distractions. Prepare meticulously when others are consumed by fleeting parties. Invest wisely when others are carelessly spending. Save diligently when others are thoughtlessly splurging. Grow exponentially when others are passively coasting. And one day, not in some distant, indeterminate future, but sooner than you think, they will look up, their eyes widening in surprise, and behold you standing in a place of influence and achievement that they didn't even know existed for you. They will, with genuine curiosity, inquire as to how you managed to arrive at such a formidable position. And in that moment, a subtle smile will grace your lips, because you will vividly recall the countless nights of silent labor that they know absolutely nothing about. You will remember the profound sacrifices that they never once witnessed. You will recall the heartfelt prayers that they never once heard. You will cherish the memory of the immense, unseen work you meticulously performed in the quiet solitude, while they were consumed by the cacophony of noise and distraction. That, precisely, is the profound power inherent in building silently. That is the exquisite beauty of implicitly trusting the process. That is the ultimate, fulfilling reward of courageously becoming the authentic person you were always destined to be. You do not need to loudly announce your inherent greatness. Your life, lived with purpose and impact, will declare it unequivocally. You do not need to tirelessly defend your divine calling. The abundant fruit of your labor, the tangible results, will resoundingly prove its validity. You do not need to fight tooth and nail for your rightful seat at the table. Your meticulous preparation, your unwavering dedication, will, with absolute certainty, secure it for you. So, go forth and build. Go forth and create. Go forth and become. Do it silently. Do it seriously. Do it successfully. The world is eagerly awaiting the magnificent individual you are in the process of becoming. Your profound purpose is patiently awaiting your diligent preparation. Your magnificent destiny is awaiting your courageous decision. Stop waiting for external permission. Stop endlessly seeking validation from others. Stop fabricating excuses that hold you back. Start right now. Start precisely where you are. Start with the limited resources you currently possess. Build yourself silently, armed with these 5 immutable rules, and then bear witness to how loudly and powerfully your transformed life will speak volumes, echoing its impact for generations to come.